Welcome back. All right, 2 games down, 12 to go. 13 to go. Sorry, 13 to go. So, yeah, and the easy part of the day is done for me. The difficult, well, I mean, it's a lot to follow when you got 13 games going on at the same time. Well, 10 of them are going to be going, you guys get what I'm saying. So, Tampa Bay, going to be glad not to see Detroit anymore, right? And Thomas Greiss, can we talk about Greiss? I'm going to talk about him at the end of this because Thomas Greiss has put something together here, which I think is quite extraordinary. It was only, a month ago that I kept seeing people saying Greiss is garbage, Greiss is terrible. This year has exposed that Greiss was being protected by the Islanders. He's not a good goaltender. I don't think that's accurate. I'm just going to come out and say I don't think that's accurate. And coming into today, he had a save percentage of .908, which is better than the league average. I think the league average is .904. So it was Greiss versus McElhinney. And McElhinney, he brings his save percentage up today as well. He had an .872 coming into today. Early power play for the Bolts. Good aggressive penalty kill by the Detroit Red Wings, who had a pretty good day against the Tampa Bay power play. Both teams obviously going over. Bolts had a 2-on-1. DeKaiser defends that. Point, Deeks, and Greiss makes the save there. Braden Point is honestly the player who's robbed the most today out of the Tampa Bay players. Shots were 8-2 in favor of Tampa at 9 minutes. This looked like it was going to be a blowout. Honestly, did not look completely different than the game between Boston and Buffalo. Just the scoring is completely different than that one, obviously. The Wings not getting any prime chances. This is after McDonough's fired one wide. The Wings were getting into the zone, but not getting really good opportunities against Tampa. Ozone time for the Wings finally shows up with 4 minutes left. They draw a power play. That was a no. Post then for Panik after the power play. So posts and some opportunities here and there, but not enough shots. They weren't generating enough. Remember, this is at home. You want to get the crowd into it. Second period, early. Tampa Bay just felt like they had the overall advantage again, and they're pressing. So it's a matter of going, I think they're going to get one here. This hat I got from 47, so before anybody asks, I got it from the 47 website. I really enjoy this hat, and I plan to wear it with the reverse retro Detroit just because it's very monotone and very kind of bland. So I wanted a hat that wasn't and had some gray in it as well, or silver. So there's a post for the Wings. Veleno couldn't bury it after that. Veleno looks pretty good. I need to stop saying Veleno and say Veleno. Veleno looked pretty good today. McElhinney holds on to a chance for him. The Bolts press at 5 minutes. The total shots at that stage in the game were 14-6 in favor of Tampa. Tampa looked really good. I don't know what you take out of this other than we don't want to see Greiss anymore. I think that's really it. The Wings then get a power play, and it looked like maybe they'll steal this one, right? Because Greiss is doing his best to set this up. I don't know how Tampa's going to approach the next game, because they play again. I don't think it's tomorrow. Is this the game that's on tomorrow too? Actually, it might be. Yeah. Tampa Bay and Detroit's the only game that's being played tomorrow. So, it's at noon hour my time too. So, early day for me, and it's just these guys meeting each other again. So I guess I can leave this board together. And by together, I mean just clean this off and just, leave those two on there, and this board will be for that game tomorrow. So shorthanded chance for Cirelli. That power play is killed off by Tampa, of course. A lot of hitting in that period, still scoreless. Fewer chances as well in the second than there was in the first. Good defense being played by Detroit here. Shots were 5 apiece with 4.5 minutes left. This is what I mean. Detroit plays hard. They work really, really hard. This is where you look at a team and go, okay, so who's the more talented? Clearly Tampa. Even without Stamkos and Kucherov, the more talented team is still Tampa. Who's working harder? I would say Detroit's one of the hardest working teams in the NHL. Again, it's impossible to quantify that, but if I could, I would use Detroit as the template this year. They've been really, really enjoyable to watch from a work perspective. Hugging broke out, and that led to 2 minutes of 4-on-4. And if you're going, well, it wasn't really hugging. It sure looked like hugging to me. I don't judge. That's fine. But apparently, you have to go to the box. Palat and Point then had a 2-on-1, and Palat couldn't bury it. So Palat and Point, both opportunities today, just nothing going in for him. Third period, post early on for guess who? Braden Point gets the post, and he just couldn't buy one today. Bolts get a power play. Their second. Greiss keeps it scoreless. Again, it's a dangerous power play for Tampa. They're generating opportunities. They're getting good looks. They're not getting goals. So that's killed off. The Wings iced it right after. So you're like, okay, so the penalty killers are still on. They're tired. Is Tampa? No. Shots were 6-1 in favor of Tampa at 6.5 minutes. Again, Tampa does everything except put it in the net. And this is where I love that this is on Sportsnet 1 today, and they picked the Bally's feed from Detroit. I'm so glad. I just it warms my soul to be able to listen to Mickey Redmond talk about how much he loves the catering, and how much he loves Bally's and all the work they're doing to support the people on the air. And I'm thinking, so it was Fox Sports until a little bit ago. So did it change when Bally's took over? This is again one of those things that I would love to discuss with Mickey if I had a chance. So he's happy with everybody running the show and saying all the right things about, what a great job they've done all year. That was a storyline throughout this period. And that happens a lot as we get close to the end of the regular season for broadcast teams when their team's not making it into the playoffs, right? So then they asked, are they still paying Weiss? So I went to Cap Friendly and looked it up. And of course, they clarified it before the game's over. But for people who may not have watched the broadcast, Cap Friendly says that the Stephen Weiss buyout penalty ends at the end of this season. However, Abdelkader's on the books until 2026. So that Abdelkader contract didn't look good out of the gate, and it just doesn't get better when you look at the fact they've got him on the books till 2026. Grice saving it again at the halfway mark. There was a turnover to Johnson. He fires one wide. The Bolts score. Goalie interference challenge. And to me, this was black and white. This was very obviously goalie interference, not a penalty, but it's one of those ones where it has to be goalie interference. You can't allow that one to go. He goes through the blue paint, turns the goalie around, turns the goalie away from the puck as it's going into the net. It's goalie interference. It's incidental contact. And the funny part is, too, every time they have one of these, Mickey Redmond, again, talking about Mickey here, he doesn't want to guess. Because when he guesses and he's wrong, he doesn't like it. So it'll cause a lot of grunts and groans and stuff from him. He does that a lot during the game, too. I get the feeling he doesn't even know he's doing it, where you'll see a play and you'll hear, huh, jeez. And it's like, okay, Mickey, do you know that it picks up, and I love it, do you know that it picks all this up? Really? Yeah. He'd be fun to watch a game with, I have to say. So it was no goal, so things are still scoreless. Helm had a shot that was stopped by McElhinney because Darren Helm's not allowed to get goals. With 6:18 left, Veleno's called a penalty, and so the Bolts go to the power play with Veleno in the box. And then Gagne, with a penalty, makes it 5-on-3 for 1 minute and 46 seconds. So I'm thinking, all right, so that's it then. Tampa Bay's going to get it, and Tampa Bay was all around that zone. They only end up with 2 shots, and Sergachev hits the post. Wings killed it off. 5-on-3 for Tampa, and it doesn't go anywhere. Chernak and Vrana, while that was going on, they were battling, and there was no penalties called. Or no, that was shortly after Chernak and Vrana were battling. That was actually during the... Right. If I just read in order, Shannon. 3:37 left. When the Wings have a power play, Vrana and Chernak decide they're going to kind of go at it. My guess is Chernak said, noticed you were traded to the Red Wings, and Vrana said, take that back. So they were battling, and there could have been a number of penalties called on both of them. Nothing's called on either of them. I guess 2 wrongs make a right. Adam Ernie was then denied, and in the last minute, Sergachev had a shot that was stopped. So we go to overtime. Overtime was, honestly, quite entertaining. Tampa Bay 6-1 in overtime. Detroit 1-6. Those records are not affected today. Nemesnikov was ragging the puck for about 30 seconds. Zadina then had a chance. It was stopped. Ernie fired one wide. He got another chance as well. Fired that one wide too. Grice stopped a McDonough shot. The Wings had a 3-on-1. Zadina just fans on it. Zadina had some really good opportunities today. Grice then stopped a chance for Killorn, and then before that's over, Vrana's denied at the other end. So we go to a shootout. And early on, the first 4 shots go in the net. So 4 out of 4 on the shots of the shootout go in, including a beautiful one by Vrana. And then we keep going till round 8. And in round 8, it's Sam Gagne. Gagne gets it. Detroit wins 1-0 in a shootout. Tampa Bay drops to 34-14-3. They gain a point. So they're currently tied with Florida. Florida plays tonight. Everybody plays tonight. That win for Detroit is actually a pretty interesting marker. It is a win of consequence. They go to 18-26-9. They have one more win than they had all of last season. Detroit is getting better. And while this was a scoreless game and at times it seemed to be kind of slow, honestly, really good hard-working game for Detroit, and kudos to them for coming out of this with 2 points. Shots in this one show you just how much Greiss made a difference. 11-4 Tampa in the first, 6-5 Tampa in the second, 14-4 Tampa in the third, and in the overtime both teams had 2 shots. Final shots, 33-15 for Tampa. Hits, 20-17 Detroit. Block shots, 14-9 for Detroit. McElhinney with the shutout. That is his 12th of his career. 15 saves to get there. Greiss, 33 saves for the second game in a row. Second shutout in a row. He is the first Red Wing goaltender to do that since Mrazek did it in 2018. And that's his 15th career shutout. Now, to show that Greiss has been very consistent, his 5 starts before this one saves all 33 shots against Columbus on the 27th of April. On the 22nd of April, saved 43 out of 46 shots against Dallas. Saves all 11 shots in relief against Dallas on the 20th of April. On the 19th, he saved 34 out of 36 against Dallas. Dallas doesn't like playing against him, I guess. And then he saved, before that, 24 out of 25 against Chicago on April 15th. It has been an amazing run for Thomas Greiss. And honestly, for Detroit, things look pretty bright for next year. So it's possible Bernier and Greiss stick around. And we'll see what they do. But kudos to Detroit on a big win. For Tampa, you have to kind of dust yourself off and say, hey, we were the better team for that whole 65 minutes. 9 times out of 10 we win. Kind of come back tomorrow and go with that same idea. And see if it happens again. All right, let me know your thoughts regarding this game in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.